Today, we're going to walk through neurodiagnostic testing with a focus on the nursing priorities connected to each procedure. As we move through the lecture, pay attention to patient preparation, monitoring, safety precautions, and post-procedure care. A major goal is learning how to connect the purpose of the test directly to the nursing interventions, because that is what strengthens both clinical judgment and NCLEX-style reasoning. This slide organizes neurodiagnostic testing from lower-risk, non-invasive procedures to more invasive testing. Structural imaging includes CT scans and MRI studies. Vascular studies include SPECT scans and Doppler testing, which evaluate blood flow and perfusion. Electrical studies include EEG, EMG, nerve conduction studies, and evoked potentials, which evaluate nerve and brain activity. Finally, invasive procedures include cerebral angiography and lumbar puncture. As invasiveness increases, nursing monitoring and complication risk increase as well. CT scans are commonly used to identify bleeding, infarcts, tumors, hydrocephalus, and other structural abnormalities. When contrast is used, major nursing priorities include assessing kidney function and screening for iodine or shellfish allergies. Patients are typically NPO before contrast administration. MRI provides much greater soft tissue detail and is especially useful for tumors, stroke evaluation, multiple sclerosis, and spinal abnormalities. The major nursing priority with MRI is metal screening. Patients must be assessed for pacemakers, aneurysm clips, cochlear implants, metallic patches, or any implanted metal objects before entering the MRI environment. This slide breaks down the nursing workflow for contrast-enhanced CT scans. First is pre-scan clearance. We verify kidney function through BUN and creatinine levels, confirm allergies, establish IV access, and maintain NPO status if ordered. Next is the intra-procedure phase. Patients should be educated to expect a warm or flushing sensation during contrast injection. They also need to remain very still to avoid image distortion. Finally, post-scan care focuses on monitoring for allergic reactions, assessing renal function, and encouraging oral fluids to help clear the contrast dye from the body. SPECT scans evaluate cerebral blood flow and perfusion. They are useful in stroke evaluation, tumor assessment, and identifying seizure focus. Because radioactive tracers are used, pregnancy and breastfeeding are contraindications. Patients should also be reassured that radiation exposure is minimal. Carotid and transcranial Doppler studies are different because they evaluate blood flow velocity in the neck and brain arteries using ultrasound. These studies are painless, non-invasive, and involve no injections or radiation. Patients should remain still and quiet during testing for accurate results. Cerebral angiography is used to directly visualize cerebral blood vessels and identify aneurysms, AV malformations, stenosis, or vascular occlusions. Before the procedure, assess renal function, maintain NPO status, and prepare the access site. Peripheral pulses should also be marked before the procedure for comparison afterward. During contrast injection, patients commonly report warmth or a metallic taste. After the procedure, nursing priorities include monitoring for bleeding, hematoma formation, circulation changes, neurologic changes, and decreased perfusion to the affected extremity. Post-procedure care differs depending on the access site used. With femoral access, the patient typically remains on strict bed rest for 4 to 6 hours, and the affected leg must stay completely straight. This helps reduce the risk for major bleeding or hematoma formation. With radial access, pressure bands are applied and the wrist is elevated. Continuous monitoring for swelling, bleeding, or circulation changes is extremely important, regardless of the access site used. EEG testing evaluates the electrical activity of the brain and is commonly used for seizure disorders, coma evaluation, and brain death determination. Several nursing priorities help ensure accurate testing. Patients should avoid caffeine or stimulants before the procedure because these can interfere with electrical activity. The testing environment should remain quiet and low stimulation. During procedures involving flashing lights or hyperventilation, seizure precautions must be maintained because stimulation can provoke seizure activity. Patients should also remain still and relaxed during the study to reduce artifacts that interfere with results. EMG and nerve conduction studies help differentiate neuropathy from muscle disorders. Patients should be educated that the needle insertion during EMG testing feels similar to an intramuscular injection. Some temporary soreness afterward is expected. Nerve conduction studies use mild electrical stimulation to evaluate how effectively nerves transmit signals. Evoked potential studies measure conduction times from sensory stimuli to the brain. Depending on the type, patients may see flashing lights, hear clicking sounds, or experience mild skin stimulation. A calm environment and minimal movement are important during all of these studies. Lumbar puncture, or spinal tap, is used to analyze cerebrospinal fluid for infection, hemorrhage, malignancy, multiple sclerosis, or pressure abnormalities. One major safety concern is increased intracranial pressure. If elevated ICP is present, lumbar puncture can potentially trigger brain herniation, which is considered a neurologic emergency. Because of that risk, CT or MRI imaging is often reviewed before the procedure. Patients are positioned either in the fetal position or leaning forward while seated, and they must remain completely still during needle insertion. After lumbar puncture, nursing care focuses on complication prevention and monitoring. Patients are often kept flat for 4 to 6 hours to help reduce the risk for post-lumbar puncture headache, which typically worsens when upright. Fluids and caffeine are encouraged because they help replenish cerebrospinal fluid volume. Monitor for headache, neck stiffness, fever, neurologic changes, urinary retention, or back pain. Another major priority is specimen handling. CSF samples must be transported to the lab immediately because delays can alter results and compromise diagnostic accuracy. This final slide brings together the major safety alerts associated with neurodiagnostic testing. For CT scans and angiography, contrast dye creates risks related to kidney injury and allergic reactions. MRI safety centers around metallic implants and foreign objects. Lumbar puncture becomes dangerous in patients with increased intracranial pressure because of herniation risk. EEG procedures require seizure precautions during stimulation testing. And SPECT scans are contraindicated during pregnancy and breastfeeding due to radioactive exposure. When reviewing neurodiagnostic testing, always connect the procedure with its highest risk complication and the nursing actions needed to keep the patient safe.